Hey friends, I'm making a series of videos to walk you through D1 through D4 so that you can work on them independently and get ahead because as you know, our summative is coming up. It's going to be the week of the 10th when you will be presenting your oral summative. So we'll be all ready. I'm going to start with D1. Now we've done D1 in class already, and you chose two testing methods in order to test your product. They need to be appropriate. And you have to think through, and we'll do that. We have to think through why this is appropriate. What kind of information am I going to glean from this? Why do I need that information? And here it is. Okay, we're going to add all of this information to two tables that we create, and this is our testing plan. So I've already said that I'm going to use the user trial for testing my products. And remember over on the left-hand side, that is an Access FM reminder. You can get rid of that. Potentially not all of those elements of Access FM apply to your product. Perfect. It also reminds you right here that you should be testing against your criteria. So you can drop those criteria in next to the Access FM elements that they line up with. You don't have to. Again, you can eliminate the Access FM elements. You might also find that some of your criteria is not appropriate for a particular testing method. Great. Just use those ones that are appropriate. You might also find or think of things that you should be testing that aren't in your initial criteria. Fabulous. Good job, thinkers. Add those. Add rows that you need in order to reflect all the new thinking that you've done and all the appropriate ways to test your product. So again, you just need the criteria. The criteria is what has to happen. You don't need to say based on research or why, but you probably should be thinking of why this criteria is important as you fill out this table. Describe how you will test the criteria. So I have decided that I'm going to conduct a user test, and then I'm going to do an interview afterward. This is going to be an oral interview, and I know about aesthetics, must be blue is what must happen, that I'm going to ask people what they think of the color, because through my secondary and my primary research, I found that that color was pretty essential to the success of my product. And I just want to check it to make sure that everybody has that same sensibility, that that color is conveying the emotion that I intend for it to convey. So I'm going to ask them what they think of the color. I'm not going to lead them and say, do you like blue? I'm going to say, what do you think of the color and why? And collect that data and see if it reinforces my gut feeling, what I already hoped people would say. It may not, and that's important and valuable information too. I know that this information is qualitative, especially because I followed up with this why. It should give me, outside of numbers, a lot of feedback that lets me know exactly the quality of my product. Justify why this test is relevant. So think again, why is this criteria important? This test is relevant because I discovered through my research that color was very important, that it affected people emotionally, and that is why I added it, and that's why it's relevant to make sure I'm on track and I'm conveying that emotion that I initially thought was so important. What data do you expect to generate, and why is it important? So the data you expect to generate is what? Feedback that helps you understand how to improve your product. That's pretty basic. What does that blue do? Can you get a little bit more specific? And then finally, the evidence. So you are not dropping this evidence in yet. You haven't actually done the test. This is planning for the test. Tell me what kind of evidence you're going to capture. Will it be photos of somebody using your product? Will it be a recording of your focus group in which you have everybody listen or watch or use your product, and then you capture your data from the interview like that, do make sure that you're telling everybody you're recording them, and also that nobody else is going to watch them. They're just going to use that information in order to make sure that they can accurately get down all the important things that you say, that they can use that for the success of their product. So, fill in these tables as best as you can, and we will be all ready to test. Now, next class, when we get together, you're actually running the test. And hopefully you'll be able to use this planning table that you created to get your survey questions together, to get your interview questions together, and then run that test pretty quickly. That's all I have for D1. Let me know if you have questions.